Hello again. I'm Cameron Kimball with the editorial team here at Book Trib, where readers come to discover. And I'd like to welcome you to another Book Trib author interview. Today, I'm so happy to talk to Soraya Rose to talk about her debut novel, The Golden Warrior. Um, After Cassius, a Roman slave, receives a visit from his long departed father, he begins to realize that he has gifts from the gods that go beyond his renowned skills as a gladiator. The more Cassius develops his gifts, the more he begins to understand his journey, not only of self reflection, but also to see the world and people around him with a new perspective. Which, with each step he takes, he learns who he can trust, who seeks to do him harm, and what it is that he stands for. Hopefully, we'll learn more about this fascinating book and the author behind it. Welcome, Soraya.
Thank you for having me today.
Of course. So, first, tell us about what inspired you to write The Golden Warrior.
So, the inspiration for the Golden Warrior is my love and interest in studying history and the lessons that are presented there. Because even though history isn't perfect, there's a lot that we can learn. We can see the injustices, we can see the unresolved conflicts. And if we study those lessons and apply them to our modern world today, we can reconcile those differences. We can honor different perspectives. We can foster that understanding and that empathy. And then hopefully we all can heal up those issues and move toward a better future for everyone.
You've written other books, I believe, but this is your first novel. Could you tell us about what that writing experience was like?
So it's a very unique kind of process. Some people have asked if I'm a planner and have everything meticulously detailed, labeled out, or others have asked if I'm a pantser, kind of a fly by the seat of my pants, right as I kind of feel it. It's a little bit of both. At the beginning of a book, I do create a very loose outline of the time period, the history, anything I want to bring up in that book, the characters, possible names, roles, communities, jobs. And then as I write each chapter, I get into the energy of that story. And the story becomes very compelling, very nuanced. And it just evolves organically. And after each chapter, I adjust that outline just a little bit more and do a little bit more research. If there's something that came up that I didn't foresee, I go in and I dive into that history to really bring it to life.
What drew you to ancient Rome, and what sort of research specifically did you do to prepare for this novel?
So I've always felt very drawn to Rome and its gladiators. And very luckily for me, that is one of the more well documented parts of the Roman Empire and Roman history. So for that part of it, I did a lot of reading on gladiators, the types of gladiators, the weapons they fought with, how the ludi were set up, how they did their training schedules, everything that they did, the expansion of Rome into other countries, because at that time Rome was still expanding, bringing in others into slavery, into gladiator schools. Names. I even did language research into Latin and Greek because a lot of the wording needed to be in that original dialect. Now, ancient history, there are going to be some gaps because over time those texts have been lost. So trying to get that historical accuracy and that meticulous detail that needed to be there does lead to where I have to take a little bit of freedom to say, okay, this is kind of what the evidence is showing. We're going to go down that road. So it was a lot of research to bring that to life for the readers.
How would you say The Golden Warrior compares to other gladiator stories?
In many ways, there are some similarities. Like the common themes are there. There's classism, there's injustice, there's slavery. And that is seen in through a lot of the gladiator stories. The Spartacus series that was on TV a few decades ago, Russell Crowe's movie Gladiator, some of the other stories all address those themes. But yet the Golden Warrior is different. This is a renowned gladiator who is literally given his freedom. And besides his gifts that he's learned from the gladiator schools, he has these metaphysical gifts that come to light. And in those moments of introspection and reflection, he realizes that it's okay to have them. He's not crazy. There are other people in that arena, in that area around him who have them. And he gains that honor and that purpose. And he discovers who he really is. and that his gifts can actually impact others in a very meaningful and positive way.
Can you tell us a little bit about his gifts and the gifts of those around him?
Now, that's an interesting question. I don't quite want to give away the whole story because it's really a fun story to read. It's very, very poignant questions are asked, and the lessons that he learns are also there. Cassius is a very gifted gladiator, and he draws people to him because he has this sense of awareness. He himself is not aware of it, but others around him see it, even from a very young age. And people seek him out because of that awareness. And every time he gets a curveball thrown at him, he goes in and he's reflective, he's introspective, and he realizes that he has these other gifts come to light, other metaphysical gifts, and the characters around him, like his best friend and brother-in-arms Drago, a priestess, Thaddeus, who readers will find out later plays a key role almost as much as Cassius does. They also have these gifts, and they use their gifts to not only teach him about his, but to help him along on his journey as he goes.
What sort of journey does Cassius take in this book, whatever you can reveal?
So Cassius's life is really about moments of stability, and then a curveball, like our own lives, comes in and kind of wreaks a little bit of havoc. And every time he thinks he finally nails down a measure of stability, everything's good, he knows what's going on, here comes this curveball, causing him to be very reflective. Okay, who's out to get me? Who's out to harm me? Who's going to help me? Where do I need to be? What's my next step? And it's in those moments that he realizes that he is part of something much larger than himself. And he gains a very, very, very deep sense of purpose, a very deep sense of honor. And he learns that using his skills, not only as a gladiator, but what other characters and other people teach him about his own gifts and their gifts, can help uplift so many more, even though they are in that class of slaves in the ancient times and held down. There are ways to rise above it. And that's really what he sees in these moments of introspection.
That's beautiful. So you're coming at this with a unique perspective. Could you tell us about some of your personal experiences as an empath and clairvoyant and how this affected your story?
So as an empath, I'm very sensitive to not only the energies of people, but everything around me. And that really does give me a very heightened sense of awareness, kind of what I'm walking into, what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing. And then as a clairvoyant, I tend to get deja vu moments. I get senses of foreboding, like I know things are coming, but I can't quite nail down what it is. And then on occasion, I do get premonitions, and it's those gifts plus a few others that I tried to write into the characters. So everybody knows it's okay to have them. It's part of who you are. It's shine true to who you really are. It's okay. Don't hide, because you can use that and learn from that and help others.
That's amazing. So alongside that, what do you hope readers take from The Golden Warrior?
Some readers will look at it and see the history there because it is very meticulous. It is very historically accurate, at least as much as we could get from the ancient texts that we have in writings. I hope readers take away that history itself is not perfect. It's there. It's what happened. It's what we live through. Yeah, there are injustices. There are differences. We can learn from those. But also on top of that, there's a question that's asked in The Golden Warrior. And that question is, what do you stand for? And I hope that readers really can reflect on that and say, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I can do. And I want to share that with the world.
Do you see yourself continuing this as a series? And if so, if you can reveal things, what should we expect from future novels?
So The Golden Warrior actually is the launch of the series. It does follow a warrior through various lives and various time periods in history and geographical areas. And in each book, not only will the meticulous history be there and the details true to that period be there, but the story will be very nuanced, very compelling, very much like it is in The Golden Warrior. But there will also be lessons that the warrior learns that people can take away and bring to their own lives. And there will be a question asked that hopefully people can reflect on and say, yeah, that really resonates with me. And I really want to look at this.
That's awesome. I know I'm looking forward to seeing where things go from there. That's very exciting to get that insight. Are you currently working on any other writing projects that you can tell us about?
My good acquaintances in my family always tease me that I never stop writing, I never stop working, and it's true, I don't. Right now, the second book in the series has been started. I'm up to chapter 3. I have had to take a pause because there were some things that I didn't foresee in the outline that I have to go research a little bit. So that one is started. I have outlines for another 4 in the series coming up a little bit down the line. So books 3 through 6. And then I do have other books that I'm working on. I have an encyclopedia I'm writing, a primer series, classes, and workshops. So there's a lot coming out.
Wow, that is quite the workload, but all very, very exciting.
It is very exciting, and it's so unique to see where each story goes because everything has its own energy and its own momentum. But I do promise that the whole Warrior series will come full circle.
That is good to hear, definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Soraya. Again, the book is The Golden Warrior. The author is Soraya Rose. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Cameron Kimball. See you next time. But until then, go read a book.
Thank you.